U20 championships update. Bum ba da bum. Letsile Tebogo of Botswana. You've heard the name. He ran the pre-classic. He ran the world championships. He's one of the bright young stars of the sport. Runs 991 to take the gold in Colombia, and he did it celebrating early. When I watched this clip, I said, "Man, that looks an awful lot like how Bolt celebrated early back in Beijing." Come to find out, this is no surprise. He was inspired by Bolt to do the celebration, just a dominant win for him. This is what happens when one of the best guys legitimately in the world also participates in U20. You get margins this big and you get times this fast.
Yeah, it was very incredible performance, and he is going from like an interesting story, young guy who is running quick to now shattering records, and now you're going to start thinking, if he keeps on developing quickly, he's going to start being one of those key factors when you talk about the Fred Curleys, Colemans, and DeGrasse and Jacobs of this world. And I think he could be a factor as quick as next year. 991 is very fast. Like most of the top guys are running in the 9.8s, and he's just on the verge of that. So um, he's going to be someone to be considered a medal contender, I think, in 2023 already, if he progresses.
Yeah. Yeah. No guarantees. But then you look at him, you look at Knighton, two guys who are in their teenage years running this fast. He just turned 19 and his semi didn't go well in Eugene, but he very easily could have been in that world championship final. I mean, he got fifth in that Prefontaine Classic 100 early in the year, which was completely loaded. That was a stacked race, and he held his own there as well too. So this guy is legit, and just the celebration with doing it with that level of ease, being able to celebrate and wanting to celebrate that early, just kind of shows you what his mindset is going into these types of races. And I know some people will like, hey, well, what could he have run? Could he have run faster? It's also good to see some personality. Good to see somebody having fun out there. He'll have time to run faster than this. I don't know if he'll have that sort of ability to dominate in a championship like this again, because it's going to be tough to do that unless he literally does become Usain Bolt. So I'm a fan of the celebrations.
Yeah, and it's always fun when Botswana is a smaller country. They've had Isaac Makwala for a few years. It's nice that they have another new young star to kind of just mix it up with the more of the main big time countries like Jamaica and USA.
Hmm. I thought that was an interesting tweet. Cole, you can pull it up. It's in the rundown from Cathal Dennehy, our friend Cathal, um, who is in Colombia for the meet. And if you scroll up, you get that first tweet and then the response to it. Basically, he said, I saw the fans. I want to remind them of what you said and Bolt did back in the day. He's my idol, the person I look up to. If somebody took it as disrespect, I'm sorry. And then he said he thinks he runs 9.8. And there's an interesting response here from sports scientist Ross Tucker, because we always have this debate, right? How fast could they have run? And Tucker says he looked at the speeds every 10 meters for Bolt in Beijing, and there's a very small drop off in speed as a result of celebration. We think it costs a lot more than it does, given starting momentum and relaxation costs at most 0.05. Still fast. So, I mean, not a scientific measure there, too, but I do think we sometimes get carried away of like, man, they started celebrating this early. Let's put that into some sort of celebration calculator, and they could have run 9.6. He did celebrate very early, though. I will say that.
I mean, I like how Ross Tucker with his Twitter handle Science of Sport just always finds a way to like come on in and be like, well, actually, you know, he's not going to be that fast according to my analysis that I'm doing at 1:42 a.m. on August 3rd, 2022. Boom, 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 boom. It's not that fast.
Well, you don't know what time zone he's in. Well, I think it is true though. Like your legs are still moving fast, right? Like because
Yeah.
So you have an interesting situation with Bolt, right? He runs the 9.69 celebrating way early in Beijing. Then the next year goes hard all the way through in Berlin, not and is, 0.11 faster. Now, okay, you could say, well, those obviously aren't perfectly identical circumstances. The weather, everything is a little bit different. But I think when he ran 9.69 and people were to like guess, okay, what could this guy do if he runs all the way through the line? They might have said faster than 9.58. Now, you figure another year, he's another year faster, another year stronger. He was still on the rise in his career. You'll never know for sure, but I think it's strange to say, but I think celebrating, to Tucker's point, does slow us down less than we think it does. I mean, if he turns around and starts dancing, that's a little bit different. But just, I mean, just the turning and the pointing and stuff. Once you're already up at that speed, listen, I've never reached that speed. I'm never going to reach that speed. I don't know what that speed's like at all. But I think once you're going that quick, you're not slowing down as much as we sometimes assume or we like to speculate about.